Hello everyone, you guys are watching Snack Chats, and we visited PAX this year.
Yeah, this was my, fifth or sixth time, but this is Snack Vic's first.
Yep, my first time visiting PAX, and we do have some stories and some impressions about some of the games that we played.
Yeah.
So just to get started, we woke up at 6 a.m.
Ooh, yeah. I wanted to give Snack Vic the full experience, and we had a friend on board, so we couldn't back out.
Yeah, a friend met us at 8 so we can stand in line for the showroom floor.
It was fun.
The first thing Joerilla wanted to do was play the newest Animal Crossing demo.
Yeah, so we bolted all the way over there, but guess what? Now these filthy exhibitors get there first.
Yeah, there was already a line, and people are saying, yeah, the line's packed, come back in like half an hour.
We missed it by 3 people.
And we never did.
Yeah, we never did play it, but then again, it would have probably been at least 3 hours of a wait.
Anyway, how about we start talking about our impressions of the games that we actually got to try out?
Yeah, sure. So,
on our way out from the Animal Crossing, because we weren't able to play it, the first game that we decided to try out was Spongebob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, the remake.
Yeah, because no one was at that booth, and then I
think we accidentally cut in front of everyone, because Joey was talking with a friend of his who was gonna be at a panel, and he was like, hey, try out the game, and then we took 2 open stations, and I think the line was on the left side, so I think we cut a lot of people.
Yeah, I saw my friend Bobby 3 times. I doubt there was a line, mainly because all the stations were open.
You never know. I saw a line there later.
Yeah, there was a line later, but I think they started accumulating because of Animal Crossing.
So what did you think of the game?
I don't know, I was sort of a bit too distracted with talking with Bobby, so I was just not really paying too much attention. I do say that the controls feel a bit floaty, but I do remember that the older games are like that. But we did get socks. SpongeBob socks.
I don't know. I really liked how the controls felt. I sort of breezed through the demo because it was only a bit of jellyfish fields and the first boss fight being with King Jellyfish. Playing around with the controls and doing all the various movements that you can do in the game, because this is my first time playing Battle for Bikini Bottom ever. I had a lot of fun with it, and it got me really excited to actually play the full game.
Oh wow, I'm sort of surprised because, because I knew I was, basically just talking with Bobby. I was noticing you and the guy next to me just playing it, and you got further than anyone.
Well, the demo ended at the boss fight, and I beat the boss.
There was also a timer.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the jellyfish. I also heard that the music, in SpongeBob was really good, but my headset wasn't properly fixed.
Yeah, that was one thing. We ran across several game stations whose headphones did not work. Although, I guess for the better, you don't really want to be wearing headphones that were worn by 30 other people.
Right, because ear infections are pretty prominent.
Plus, it was kind of warm in there, even though it was kind of chilly outside. So there was a lot of sweaty people. The game we played after that was Ageless, being published by Team 7, same people who published Overcooked or the Ukulele series.
It looked like a neat concept, but the guy did come over and sort of tell you what to do sometimes.
Yeah, that's one thing I can never really get used to. This is my first time being at a big gaming convention like this. So developers or people who are running the booths sort of walk up to you and try to explain the game and all this and that just over your shoulder. It's kind of weird, at least for me personally, with all my social anxieties.
Especially
and that puts pressure on you, because it's someone walking up to you and being hey, you're not playing the game right.
That's also another thing where I went to college for game art, and the first thing in game design is if you have to tell the person how to play your game, that you're doing something wrong. Especially when it's a demo.
My only issue with the game is that it had some neat concepts. It wasn't really gripping me that much, but the end of the demo was a chase scene, and they expect you to do all these puzzles where this beast is chasing you at a breakneck speed. I end up just sort of bowing out at that part, and the guy was yeah, that we're still trying to balance things out, and I'm yeah, sure you are. I'm not sure if he was a developer, though.
The way he sounded like a developer. PAX East has sort of become like the indie scene. Like, even if they're not in the indie showcase, there are indie people outside of it.
After that, I got a chance to play 30XX, the sequel to 20XX. And before I played the demo, I was actually talking about with the developer, asking a few questions. And, like, the team behind that is really nice.
Yeah, they seem really nice. Pretty diverse cast of characters.
They set me up with a game station, and ironically, the game, like, crashed for someone. So
Yeah.
they set me up at a station while they were fixing it.
I mean, another funny thing was while I was waiting, it was just like the person behind me was just like telling one of the developers, wow, this looks like a very polished game. I know it's still in the beta phase, but like, this is really polished, as the game crashes for someone.
But yeah, I played a bit of 20XX on the Switch, so I was really excited to try out 30XX. The developers were really nice, and when I got a chance to sit down with the game, it played really well.
It really looked like they could sell it right then and there to you.
Yeah. I do like how they decided to switch up to actual pixel art. It reminded me a lot of Mega Man Zero or like ZX.
Yeah.
Which is out now. Get the collection. But yeah, look at the sprite art was really nice. One scene that I really liked in particular is that the first level is a very Japanese inspired like castle, and you fight like a fire gorilla at the end. I forget the name. But like after you beat him, the screen is just full of cherry blossoms, and it looked really magical.
Magical.
I know that's sort of a dumb thing to say, but like that sort of made my eyes light up. After that, me and Joey decided to go check out Tiny Build's booth, and we got a chance to play Ramen.
Not the food, but separate raw with men.
It's a cartoonish team-based shooter where instead of fighting with guns, you're fighting as a bunch of burly men with soup.
There's also a burly woman option, which is a bit odd depending on the name.
Well, if you see like the actual like outside of their booth for Ramen, it has art of both male and female characters. I assume the demo that we played and the original idea was just gonna be like a bunch of men only, but later down the line they'll probably add more cosmetic options like changing up the gender.
But yeah, it just felt a lot like Splatoon, but like a lot more...
It was very frantic.
Capture the flag.
No, the game mode we played was more King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, yes.
Because in order to get points, there was a marker on the stage and you had to stand by it. And the longer you stood there by yourself, the more points that you would drink. And not to brag, but I totally won that match.
I was running second for so long, and then people got good at the game, and then I got in third.
Yeah, you always have to love being thrown into a game where no one knows what to do.
Yeah, I sort of like it because I sort of pick it up quicker, but then after about 1 or 2 matches of people actually knowing what they're doing, then I start losing.
Yeah, but the game was really nice. I did notice it was kind of like lagging a bit.
Was it?
Either that or the game is just kind of slow.
It wasn't lagging for me.
Well, not lagging, but sort of frame drops.
It wasn't really frame dropping for me either. Like, I saw no issues. If anything, I thought I was running swimmingly.
I don't know, I just didn't think the game ran that smoothly, at least from my end. I still had fun with it. And I would still like to pick it up whatever it comes out on.
Yeah. Well, regardless, let's go on to Shovel Knight.
I stumbled across the Yacht Club Games booth and I got a chance to play Sheol Night Dig and the newly announced Shovel Knight Puzzle Dungeon. I guess I'll talk about Puzzle Dungeon first, since that was the first one I played. It was a very interesting concept because they tried to mix the whole 2D puzzle game like Puyo Puyo or Tetris with the idea of a dungeon crawler.
It was pretty interesting. Like, this was the one that looked like Tetris, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it looked pretty interesting.
The combat was kind of weird. It felt a lot like Crypt of the Necrodancer if you ever played any of those games.
Their booth was also really nice, where they had like all the figurines and all that. Gift shop was really loaded too.
Yeah. Playing through that, I did die quite a few times because, you know, it's a new game. But I didn't end up finishing the demo because, like, my idiot brain yacht was like, hey, you already died like 3 times. You're like wasting everyone else's time. Just back out now. You wasted too many attempts. And instead of waiting for the demo to like time out or for me to actually beat it, I was just like, I'm done with this game. I don't want to be inconveniencing other people.
Damn. I mean, you waited so long.
Well, I didn't wait long for Puzzle Dungeon. The one I waited long for was Sheol Night Dig. Just because for Puzzle Dungeon they had 4 stations, but for Dig they had 2. So I waited for Dig, and I thought it was really enjoyable. The idea of Shovel Knight going the route of like a vertical roguelite or roguelike, whatever people call it, was very interesting.
Yeah.
And I did end up being the boss, like, really quickly. The 2 people before me had their demos time out. I just breezed through the stage.
There was a lot of times at PAX East where like the indie developers or like, you know, just the people there are like, wow, you must be good at the game.
When I fought against Spore Knight, I didn't even have them attack me because I always caught them while they were like spawning.
Nice.
And right next to Yacht Club, there was
this game called Kiwi.
Yeah, it was a part of, I actually forget the name of the company.
Yeah, but they're only making the game on Steam. Just saying, I want it on Switch. If it's on Switch, I'm gonna buy it.
I forget the name, I'll probably put it up on screen, but it's the same company that's publishing No Straight Roads, which I didn't have a chance to play, but I really wanted to. But we did play Kiwi, which is a cooperative party-like game, where it's a messaging center ran by 2 Kiwis. There was 2 modes. One I saw while I was in line for Shovel Knight, where people had to type a giant keyboard by butt slamming it. But the mode that we played was we got messages and we had to assemble letters using various like snippets of...
You were basically making ransom notes.
It looked like ransom notes.
Yeah, and you just ship it off on, what was it, an ostrich?
I don't know, it looked like an emu.
Yeah, an emu. And
well, it was like a lot of fun.
It really is, like, I feel like it would be like a strong mini game. What is it, for like Nintendo to do? For like a Nintendo Land thing?
I feel like depending on how many like stages there are and how much you can do, it would be like a really fun party game.
Yeah, sort of like Astro Bears or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is more fun.
And it was simple enough where you didn't really have to have too much communication. You just need to find the words to make a letter. And there wasn't much to it. Because I feel like games like Overcooked, you need to have a lot of communication and you have to really train in order to get good at that game.
Yeah, and you have to hold multiple hats without knowing what the other person's really doing unless you have it really planned out.
Yeah, but for this one, all you need is a bit of coordination, but overall, the game is really fun. I would definitely recommend Kiwi.
I mean, we still might just buy it for Steam, straight up.
And it was the best game at PAX because it had Kiwis, and they were really cute.
Kiwi.
And after we played Kiwi, we were just sort of walking around the showroom floor, and we stumbled upon a indie area where a lot of smaller indie creators were able to show off their games. The first game I stumbled across was Conquest, which I thought was really interesting because I was talking with the developer and he was like, this is a game that's all about teaching you how to write in Japanese. So he set me up with a tablet, and the point of the game was to rearrange these tiles that had Japanese writing on it.
Kanji.
Yeah, and you had to rearrange them in a way where they actually made phrases. I thought it was really interesting. A little critique that I have, though, is that I would have liked to know
what the meaning was.
I would really like to see, like, after I solved the puzzle, what did I write? What words did I create? But the guy was really nice, and he had a lot of passion for this.
Yeah, he was really passionate, even though it was sort of like a Pokemon trainer encounter where we just look at the tablet and he's just like, oh, hey, how's it going?
But yeah, I can definitely see something like this being a really strong learning tool for anyone who does want to learn how to write in Japanese.
Yeah, so while Victor was playing that, I sort of snuck off to a game that was right next door from it called Neon City Riders.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So, the way I was roped in was by his shirt designs. Like, there was like a Gator Gang shirt that was purple and green. I was I honestly just wanted to buy the shirt then dip. He didn't have my size because I'm a big boy. Since it was sort of an awkward thing, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna play the game.
And what did you think of it?
It seems solid. The thing is I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah. Joey handed off the controller to me when I was finished playing Conquest, and he was like, oh, you try this.
Well, I try and buy the shirt.
The snippet of gameplay I played was very interesting. I did think the sprite art looked really nice.
Dude, like, I would legit play it just for the sprite art, but the thing is that, like, I just don't know what it was about.
Yeah, it felt like, because when he handed off the controller to me, that's when I went to, like, some sort of hub world.
Oh, actually, that's where you start out.
Oh, really?
The hub world, I legit just went in one direction, and then I actually got, like, some attack thing, because I didn't have an attack. All I could do was run, and maybe, like, swing my bat. Then once I got all the way down, there was like this orb that I picked up, and then I could like dodge and do this other attack, and
I
just, like,
didn't know how to
what?
dodge, so the game was probably extra hard for me going through certain obstacles.
Maybe. I have no idea. It was confusing.
Maybe when we actually pick up the game, when it comes out, it'll make a lot more sense.
I'm not buying the game until the shirt is available for sale in my size.
So after that, I tried out a game called Otto and the Ancient Worlds. First thing I had to say is that visually it looked a lot like Shovel Knight.
Which one was this one again? Same. It was in the same area as the other two games we talked about?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I vaguely remember it being.
You might have been looking at something else.
Was it when I was looking at the what's it called? The one that had the Prinny booth?
Yeah, I think you might have stumbled across there. I don't remember.
I'm more for the merch, if you didn't know, but, you know.
I'm the exact opposite. I didn't buy a thing when I was at PAX, which everyone's probably like, why didn't you buy a bunch of stuff? I'm like, we were already getting a bunch of free swag, and, like, I was more there to play demos. To get back to Otto, I did think the game was really solid. It was sort of Castlevania-ish. The main character had a whip, and, you know, it's a retro-style platform. You run, you jump, what more do you need?
Yeah.
Although, it was interesting that they had a slide move that you only really need to do once for the level, but at the end, you ran across a chase scene.
And then I actually remember the developer telling you that actually speeds you up by 2 times.
I was being chased by a Trojan horse, and there's a little comedy bit before that where the guy's like, it's not a Trojan horse, it's a Trojan donkey, and then the main character Otto's like, but you use the same sort of terminology and you use Trojan in the name, and they go back and forth for a sec before the chase scene. And the thing is that I kept getting caught because I didn't think that the slide move was something that would actually speed me up. I thought it was just sort of like a Mega Man slide where it was more for
like dodging and stuff.
More for just, like, sliding into
tight areas.
Yeah. But then, like, the second time I got killed, the developer's like, you know, you can do the slide to, like, actually boost your speed.
And then you whipped right by it.
I mean, that, because you...
Didn't he actually say that you were, like, the best player? Or, like, that you finished it within the fastest amount of time after he told you about the slide?
Yeah. Definitely something to look out for.
It was one of the more solid indie games there that seemed like it was made by only, like, at max 4 people.
Yeah. I would say, though, maybe convey in the game itself, like during the opening segments, that the slide can be used for actually speeding up.
True.
But yeah, that's enough of Otto. Let's talk about one of my least favorite games, Neko Ghost Jump.
It's basically Super Paper Mario for the Wii.
Well, the concept was nice because the thing was that it was a 2D platformer, but you can change into 3D, and it sort of had that Super Paper Mario style to it, which I really liked. The thing is that the controls were horrendous.
Yeah, graphically, it looked good. I honestly was hoping hoping for the best when Victor picked up the controller. But when I saw the controls, I was just like, dude, you're using the basic physics engine in the Unity engine. You shouldn't be doing that.
My biggest grievance was that I was playing with like an Xbox One controller, and the controls, you do like a dash in the air when you tap a trigger, but the triggers were so sensitive that if I rested my finger on the trigger, I would just end up doing a dash and killing myself. And like other people around me playing the game were also having like frustrations with the movement. There was a guy next to me who was playing, and the developer was talking to him like, you know, you can get past this jump, you just have to hit the dash at this very exact moment in order to actually get past it. And the thing was, the game was riddled with like jumps where you had to do really precise movements to actually cross.
When the game was so floaty and not precise.
I remember like dying a few times, and Joey's like, let's just get out of here. I'm like, let me at least beat this one level, and then I'll leave this really bad demo.
I sort of just wanted to like take it was actually a Razer Wolverine controller. I remember, and I'm just like, why did he bring this like Wolverine $150 controller?
I didn't even notice.
I only noticed because I worked at a game store, so...
The thing is, the thing that sucked most about this game is that it had so much potential. I mean, there was character customization, the areas looked rather nice, it had the whole Super Paper Mario 2D to 3D aspect that could have been expanded upon, but like, those controls...
The controls...
The controls and level layout just made it really unfun to play.
Like, dude, you did everything well up to the actual parts that mattered the most.
Like, I don't want to say anything too bad because it is a game in development, and I pray that they actually fix, like, the controls and, like, level layouts. I guess after that, we actually stopped by Behemoth, and we actually got to try out the new Alien Hominoid Invasion.
I honestly, it makes me remember that I don't really like arcade stick controls.
Yeah, they had all the demos out in arcade booths, which is really nice aesthetically, not as much actually playing the game.
It's more just because we're not familiar with it.
Well, my issue is that, you know, it was jump and shoot, and there was a dodge roll that you had to do a lot that sort of acted like a dive. So doing those 3 buttons was kind of like awkward when I would rather play on a controller where it's like 2 buttons and a shoulder button to dive.
Right, but still a fun game.
Yeah, it goes for a whole like tactical stage layout where you're on a grid-based map and you choose the stage that you want to do, and you sort of make your own way up to like the final area. And just thinking about it, like in this decade, we're getting a new Invader Zim and a new Alien Hominoid. It's sort of crazy.
Oh, by the way,
2000s nostalgia is coming back. Obviously, the biggest thing that a lot of people know is that they're redesign. I feel like they reused sort of the body type from Battle Block Theater, but that's just me. And like the animation's like really fluid this time around, and there's a lot of room for customization. A big thing is that you can choose like the color, the gun, and like the hat that your alien can wear. And the game's up to like 4 people all at once.
Yeah.
I haven't played too much of Alien Hominoid outside of like the original Flash game on Newgrounds, but I really want to play more of it. I'm super excited for this to come out on Switch.
I saw it around the original Castle Crasher release, you know, on the 360 and stuff.
Yeah.
I played it like once, but I never bought it. But now I am sort of interested to buy it because I feel like it'll get me back into like the Castle Crashers nostalgia while getting a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, Alien Hominoid Invasion, we're one step closer to 2000s nostalgia. I'm telling you, just give it like another year and we'll have a boom of 2000s nostalgia.
Well, I will say right now, for every PAX East, Behemoth is always there. Like, legit, just always, with those arcade cabinets and everything.
I guess the last game we actually got to play while we were down on the show floor was a little indie title called Dogfight, which is a aerial combat game.
Made somewhere in Massachusetts.
I did have a lot of fun with this game, although I forgot to invert the flight controls, and I chose a stage that had a lot of things that you can crash into, so most of our gameplay was just us crashing into each other.
Yeah, and I still remember right before we were playing the game because we were in a line of no one.
The game looked really nice. It had a nice cel-shaded look to it. There was a lot of fun, cartoonish character designs. Obviously, with a game called Dogfight, all the pilots were dogs.
Oh yeah, also, what is it? You know how I asked you, like, how'd they do this in most likely Unity?
Yeah.
I looked at it closer when we were playing the game. There was a bit of, it looks fine from, like, a distance. But the thing is that I found out how they were doing it. But it still looks really good. Trust me, I had to look pretty close to find the jank.
But yeah, the demo had us choosing a pilot and various weapons, and we were thrown into an arena where it was a battle based on points. So you can get points by shooting each other down, shooting down like random computer planes, or going through various rings or doing various objectives on the actual map. I did think that was a really interesting style because it wasn't just a straight up 1v1.
In my opinion, it reminded me about that Snoopy game that was like on 360 and all that, and then when the Charlie Brown movie came about, they made like a PS4 and Xbox One port.
Yeah, Snoopy is awful. Let's euthanize him.
No.
I think Snoopy's favorite video game at PAX was Euthanasia.
You hurt me.
But yeah, Dogfights probably sound like a broken record. Is a really fun time. You should go check out.
And if you follow them right at PAX, you get a bandana.
Yeah, we got a free bandana with all our swag.
Yeah, and it has their doggos on it.
Anyway, so good night, good morning, whatever. Please like, subscribe, comment. Anything helps. Thanks for watching, and you guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.